Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to get into the topic of how family structure is a business, or at the least, it should be a business and calculated as so. Now, I'm jumping into this topic right now because sometimes there are a lot of people who have the idea that, from the perspective of, as we covered inside the channel a while back, of how a person should be saving, they should be putting away money, they should have a budget. We broke down. You can check back to some of those older videos about money management and personal growth, social growth, and all those other things where we were talking about bettering your person. But in the money management section, we went into things like budgeting. So you have a certain budget where you would have your expenses, you'd have a savings, and obviously a little bit of leeway money that you would be able to play with. Now, sometimes when people get with somebody and they form a family, whether it's, marriage, or whether you're just a family in general, because you don't have to be married to say that you're a family. If you have somebody that you live with and your lives are incorporated together, and especially if you have children, you're a family, that they stop that same level of budgeting, or maybe they weren't doing it in the first place, and this is a time to start. And so we're tackling this from a perspective of that, like I said, breaking things down on a percentage level, like we've done in the previous videos about self budgeting for yourself, but also in this regard, it's just a general idea of, we're not going to go into detailed of what each expense would be, but just a general bracket of percentage of your income in terms of budgeting. So you understand that when you come into the dynamic of a family, that still continues. Now, first, I want to get out of the way the fact that culturally in the dating world nowadays, you have it where, and this could be vice versa. This could be the man or the woman, whatever the case is. But generally speaking, it's often where we think that we get with somebody and that person's supposed to alleviate our expenses so that way we can spend more, and just maybe take our own money and have fun with it. Or maybe someone else is going to be responsible for us and now they're giving us an allowance. We're able to go have fun, spend a bunch of money, and that's it. We don't have to be responsible for anything. It actually should be the opposite. And for anybody who approaches having a family or family structure in their life, you should definitely be looking to approach it in this way and not think that family time is playtime, in terms of, okay, someone else is going to want to spend my money and I'm going to be okay with that off the price of just having this family dynamic. So, with that being said, there is a household budget, and that household hold budget is your 100%. Now, that household budget makes up, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. All right. So you guys get a little bit closer image to everything. Um, so the household image the household budget makes up 100%. Now, that will include everybody's income in the household. This is where a lot of people get thrown off when it comes to this idea of family structure, the family structure being a business, and thinking that certain people don't have to participate. If everyone is under the roof, everybody's budget gets thrown into one. Now, obviously, you should have one person really buckling down to make these rules towards how things go. If you both should be in agreement with it, so it's not going to feel like one person is ruling or dominating over anything. But there needs to be somebody who is in charge of setting those lines that say everybody's money that's coming into the house is part of this budget, so we're all going to contribute to it if we're all living in the same household. In addition to that, whoever that person is that's going to be in charge of it, it needs to be understood that everybody is partaking in it. So you're not going to have a thing where, you are putting in your money and your spouse is just playing with their money. No, it's not. Just the household budget is not 100% of just your money. It's 100% of everyone's money. So first and foremost, it's primarily the total combined budget of both the adults in the household. That's just a given. Neither one of them is just having their money on the side. It's part of the total budget. It doesn't mean you have to combine your accounts, but it definitely means that when you put pen to paper and you start working out what the budget is for the for the month on a month to month basis, you're calculating both of your incomes. So let's just say hypothetically, for easy math, you make $1,000, your spouse or your significant other makes $1,000 a month. That total budget is $2,000. You don't have to have a combined account, but it's $2,000 at that point, and that's what you're factoring in when we do our 100%. Now, if you have kids and they're grown-up kids, I'm not talking about less than 18, but if you have kids that are living in the household and they are 21 or whatever the case is, then and they're working 21, 22 or above, whatever, and they're working, they are part of that 100% household budget. This is very important. Don't think that this is why a lot of people will say you're not going to live here for free. You're going to, I'm going to kick you out if you are not going to, be on point when it comes to thinking you're going to live for free. Now, they're part of that full household budget. And then obviously everything gets dispersed accordingly, like a business. So I want you to think of this similar to, think of a building. Think of a building. Okay. This big building. And you got your windows. Okay, you got this really big building. Think of these windows and stuff like that. And this is a big corporation. You got floors and everything like that. Now, the person in charge of the budget, and like I said, that doesn't have to be most of the time in most households. That's usually the man. It doesn't have to be, but it's just about what you agree on. That person is sitting right here at the top, on the top floor. Below that, you've got your workers and more workers. So, and this is just an analogy for the household structure, not saying that someone is worth less than another or anything of that sort. But the point of this is to say that in a business structure, that top person at the top has to first disperse all the money for what allows that business to keep running, business expenses. That in the household is the same as your bills, food shopping, all the necessities, your utilities, all the basic necessities that keep the household running. So we're just going to all group that into the category of bills. Bills come first. Just like any business, the money used to maintain the business always comes first, because otherwise the business shuts down. So in your household budget, the first thing you do is put away towards maintaining the household, which is the expenses, which are the bills. And so bills would get something like, in this percentage, everyone can play with their percentage on what they feel suits them. But this is just to give you a roundabout of a way for you to kind of be generally guided. We'll say that's about 50% of the entire household income, because most of the time bills do take up a large percentage of your household income. Most people are never at the point of where your bills take up 20% of your entire income and the rest is just a bunch of additional money. That's almost never the case, because most people's lives will be at the point of their income. You make more income, you live a more expensive life. So after that, we're going to say that you're going to now have money for growth in a business or long-term or longevity. That's going to be in our category of savings, along with in the household budget, savings, but plus investments, plus future investments, long-term, things like maybe for the kids, college, kids investments. You're looking at your investments, your 401ks, your all that kind of stuff. All that's getting wrapped into this, including you saving up for property, anything like that, stocks, whatever it is, whether you want to start a side business outside of the household family, quote unquote, business. So that part, we're going to just group in and call it savings. We're going to put 30% to that. Now, I know that might seem like a lot, and some people might want to make that 20% and flip it with the next category, But generally speaking, if you really want to try to be as successful as fast as possible, it's better for that budget to be higher. And then last, we're going to have, um, you know, play money, if you want to call it that. So, this would be the equivalent in your business of paying people out, or, your leisure fund, or whatever the case is. So, essentially, like the equivalent of paying people out in the business after you've paid for the expenses of the business, you pay for reinvesting into the business, and then now it's time to pay your employees. Well, this includes yourself. You're in this. So if you're the one who's in charge of the household budget, this includes you, and everyone else in the whole household is working off of a certain budget. We're just going to call it play money for a simple term. And we're looking at here 20%. Now, that now is the money. This is the key. This is the key number right here when it comes to when we think of to ourselves, whether it's because you want to spoil your kids, whether you get with somebody and whether you're a male and you get with a female, or vice versa, you're a woman and you get with a guy. But generally speaking, it's usually in the context of a guy getting with a woman, because men usually are seen as the one who quote unquote provides. And in that case, and like I said, if the roles reverse, the roles reverse. This is not about that when it comes to this video, but in that case, generally speaking, the idea is there's going to be a bunch of play money. But obviously, you can see when people are doing things correctly, and the person who's leading the household in regards to the budget of the house and being in charge of that has to put their foot down about there is a breakdown, there is a certain amount of play money, and that percentage in play money is as follows. So, for example, off when I said that for the easy math, we said $2,000 was the household budget. We're just going to put HHB, household budget. 20% of that play money would be $400 per month. Now, like I said, this may not be everyone's budget. For some people, it might actually be their actual household income. But the point is just for easy math, $400 for the month would be their play money. It's not a thing where someone could say in the household, or any particular person in the household who likes spending would be like, hey, I need more money for this. You go, I understand that, but that's what the budget is. And that budget gets equally divided by 4. Let's say if you've got, say, just for argument's sake, 2 kids, and you and the spouse in the household, and then you're looking at $100 each. So, and obviously that might not always be the case exactly, especially if the kids are, young. But let's say that the kids are a bit older, maybe they're teenage level, and the kids need certain expenses. They go out, they, have to, maybe they're about to start college. Maybe they need that money every month, $100 in their pocket, so they can go and pay for their lunch, their food, their whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like they go hang out with the friends, whatever the case is. The point is, no one in the household should be allowed to say, I want all of the play money budget just because I want it. And then now you find yourself taking from all the bills and the savings budget area because someone else wants that. So, like I said, this is just to really break down the fact that it is a business. You have to view it like a business. And if anyone is not down for that, they really should not be part of the family structure, to be honest with you. If you're looking to start something with somebody and they're not on that same page, you really want them to be on that same page, because this is how you really begin the seeds of success, is being able to budget your family structure like a business to make sure that, you're able to do what you have to do in that regards. This is actually very important. And in this same case here, the savings is 600 based on this little setup that we're doing right here, this little example. And with that, the reason why that's so important is because this is what's going to be going to your investments down the line. This is what's going to help you, get yourself out of, say, like if you start that, and say if you're like maybe mid-20s or 30 years old, 30 years from then, if you continue that constant savings investing figuring out what you're going to do with the money, 30 years later, you will be set for retirement. That's why this is so important. And a lot of people lose sight of this. And a lot of something else that a lot of people lose sight of also is the fact that a lot of people don't value the family structure nowadays, in the sense of they'll jump into something. It could be like 5 years, 10 years, they break up, they jump into something new. Everyone's looking for the next person to automatically have everything for them. This is why the structure is important for a long term. You have to think about this, is because that retirement concept of saving takes a long time, like 20 or 30 years, so it's not just a overnight thing. So once you start that with somebody, or your family, or little family structure, you don't want to have to say, I have to restart that, because it doesn't always split very well when someone's like, I want more of that. So this is just food for thought for you guys in terms of the budgeting world and working all that out. But as always, you guys take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys. Oh, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.